nerves in Ramanathapuram. Arrest of Dalit leader sparks outrage. Police opens fire at an angry mob, killing 5. PMK demands a probe. Chief Minister condemns violence as police was under attack and the police fired in self-defense. Announces compensation of 1 lakh rupees. Applying for a passport, get an appointment online. Government to launch 3 new passport seva kendras to the address. Cops arrest 5 for vandalizing SV Shekhar's property. Culprits say they were sending a message after Shekhar's comments on capital punishment. As thousands of majority Sinhalas pour into war-torn Tamil areas, questions arise about Sri Lanka's sincerity in dealing with investigating war crimes. Cyber criminals beware. RG North Zone Sarendra Babu launches cyber protection cells in districts. And you will be left spellbound as the kids from across the state pit their word power against each other. After bagging National Award in acting, Dhanush now gets ready to don the role of a lyricist in Brothers Project Maikam Enna. Good evening, you're watching Late Night News with me, Ashmit. Time now for the latest stories coming in from across the country. 1 person killed, 3 injured after a tin shed roof collapses on other devotees during the Lal Baucha Raja procession in Mumbai. Former Indian skipper Mohammad Azharuddin's son Ayazuddin critical after a motorcycle accident. PC Khanduri sworn in as the new Chief Minister of Uttarakhand, replacing Ramesh Pokhriyal. 23 thalassaemic children test positive for HIV after blood transfusions at the Junagadh Civil Hospital in Gujarat. And Djokovic saves 2 match points, comes back from 2 sets down to beat Federer. It will be Nadal versus Djokovic in the US Open final. First up, 5 people were killed in a police firing in Ramanathapuram district of Tamil Nadu and 8 others sustained bullet injuries. Now, trouble began when police arrested John Pandian, a Dalit leader, in a bid to prevent him from attending the Guru Puja, or the birth anniversary of a late Dalit leader. Now, soon after the arrest, a mob attacked the police at Paramakudi, injuring several policemen, including a DIG. Now, police vehicles were also torched. Protests soon spread to adjoining Madurai, where police had to resort to open firing to bring down the situation. Now, 2 people were injured in this exchange.
தலைவர் தமிழினவேந்தர் ஜான் பாண்டியன் அவர்கள் இன்று காலை தூத்துக்குடி அருகில் வளநாடு அருகிலே ஒரு நிகழ்வில் கலந்து கொண்டு திரும்பி கொண்டிருக்கின்ற வேளையில் அவருக்கு பரமக்குடியில் நுழைவதற்கு 144 தடை உத்தரவு போடப்பட்டுள்ளது என்ற ஆணையை கொடுத்து தேசிய நெடுஞ்சாலையில் வைத்து அவரை காவல்துறையினர் கைது செய்திருக்கின்றார்கள். பரமக்குடியில் தியாகி இமானுவேல் சேகனுடைய 54ஆம் ஆண்டு நினைவேந்தலிலே தமிழக மக்கள் முன்னேற்றக் கழகமும் தமிழக மக்கள் முன்னேற்றக் கழகத்தினுடைய தலைவரும் கலந்து கொள்ளக்கூடாது என்பது இன்று இந்த நாட்டை ஆளுகின்ற ஆட்சியினுடைய எண்ணமாக இருக்கின்றது. அதன் அடிப்படையில் அவர்கள் கைது செய்கின்றார்கள். பரமக்குடியில் நுழையக்கூடாது என்ற தடை உத்தரவுக்கு பரமக்குடியில் நுழைகின்ற போது கைது செய்தால் அது சட்டத்தை மீறியதாகாது. சட்டத்தை மீறுகின்ற போது கைது செய்வது தவறில்லை. ஆனால் பரமக்குடிக்கு இங்கே தூத்துக்குடியில் வைத்தே கைது செய்வது என்பது இது சட்டத்தை மீறிய காவல்துறை கையில் எடுத்து எங்களை அங்கே செல்லவிடக்கூடாது என்பதற்காக தடுப்பதற்காக இதை கைது செய்கின்றார்கள். இது ஒரு மனித உரிமை மீறலும் சட்ட விதிமீறலும் ஆகும் என்பதை தமிழக மக்கள் முன்னேற்ற கழகத்தின் சார்பாக தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கின்றோம்.
Well, meanwhile, political reactions coming in, the PMK chief Ramados demanded that such an instance of open firing on people warrants a probe. And while the Chief Minister has already responded to this almost crisis-like situation, Amma has announced a compensation of 1 lakh rupees to the kin of each of the 3 people who died as a result of police firing. However, she did condemn the violence which broke out after the arrest of the Dalit leader. Now, she added that the police fired on in self-defense as the angry mob had attacked the forces and was also damaging public property. The Chief Minister said that the mob hurled petrol bombs at the police and also torched police vehicles. Well, now the latest crime updates. The police now appear to have set their eyes firmly on targeting cyber criminals. Special cybercrime investigation teams have been set up in 6 districts across the state. North Zone IG Sarendra Babu assured that this initiative will equip the rural forces and reduce their dependency on the urban police, thereby helping them in effectively tackling the online menace. Now, at present, only 6 cities in Tamil Nadu have specialized cybercrime units.
We are forming a cyber crime investigation team in each of the 6 districts in North Zone. The idea is that today any kind of crime has to be investigated and cracked with the help of cyber experts. Even a theft of a cell phone requires the specialized skill to track the mobile phone, the service provider, the SIM card, and sometimes the location of the person who is holding the mobile phone in the Google map. Even very heinous crime of kidnapping of a minor girl, kidnapping for ransom, requires to locate the place where the boy or girl is, which can be done only through tracking the mobile phone. And even the cheating by international gangs like Nigerian cheating, people offer a huge sum of money as lottery. Sometimes they offer a job, and through this way they cheat people. This is very common, and most of the victims are poor, gullible public from Tamil Nadu. Therefore, this part of the country, this part of our 6 districts, we like to have a strong team so that such complaints, even a very minor complaint, say an SMS with obscene content, or call abusing the women who is attending the call, even very petty crimes like this requires specialized skill, but for which police may not show a lot of interest. Now, since 6-member team, every district we are going to keep policemen experts in cybercrime investigation. This 6-member team will be assisting the superintendent of police in a large way. They will be able to locate the culprit, the location of the mobile phone, and they will be able to help to detect most of the cases, mobile phone theft, or cyber crimes, cyber theft, or ordinary crime like burglary or cheating or murder for gain, attempted murder, kidnapping. Any kind of crime, investigation will be easier with the help of this specially trained cops in 6 districts.
Well, meanwhile, our crime correspondent Salim joined us to tell us how such technology cells are crucial in tackling the modern-day tech-savvy criminals.
Remember the case of software engineer Parthasarathi in Chennai. Parthasarathi married a girl against the wish of her parents, and one final day he went missing from Chennai. His body was found partially burnt in Tindivanam. And that's when Sailendra Babu took charge as the Inspector General of Police of North Tamil Nadu, and he formed several special teams and cracked the case by arresting Parthasarathi's father-in-law and his accomplice, the woman. Now, how did the police crack the case? They initially traced the cell phone of the deceased Parthasarathi. They found the cell phone with the woman who actually hired goons to kill Parthasarathi. Now, one of the goons, after murdering Parthasarathi, took his cell phone and handed over it to the woman. The woman threw the SIM card, and she used the cell phone with the new SIM card. And the police, with the help of the IMEI number, traced the cell phone, and then they got some vital clues about how did the cell phone go from Parthasarathi to this particular woman. On interrogation, it was revealed that the woman hired goons to murder Parthasarathi to help his friend, who is Parthasarathi's father-in-law. And the police say that knowledge on cybercrime is very important as far as the police department is concerned.
Moving ahead to a sensitive issue, the Sri Lankan government says that they are serious about investigating war crimes that took place in the final stages of war. But as NDTV Srinivasan Jain reports from inside the former war zones, a new bizarre phenomena of war tourism is raising doubts about the government's intent and how sensitive it is to human tragedy. Tourists, mostly from the majority Sinhalese community, are pouring into landmarks of the battle in the Tamil areas of the north, from Prabhakaran's jungle lair to the last no-fire zone, where thousands died.
In the shattered town of Puttikudiyurappu, one of the last zones of the war in Sri Lanka's northern Tamil areas, we come across this bunch of young Sinhala boys on a school trip. They are making their way through the jungle towards the highlight of Sri Lanka's new and somewhat bizarre war tourism trail, Prabhakaran's bunker. Crowds of visitors, all Sinhala, wander through the LTTE chief's secret tunnels, taking pictures of armored doors and escape routes.
This was the emergency exit.
In this unlikely setting, we came across a Sinhala family who spoke from the heart about reconciliation.
This falls record not on Sri Lanka.
අපි සිංහල එනට අපි දෙමළයට ආදරෙයි
දෙමළය මොනවා හිතනවද දන්නේ නැහැ. දෙමළයි දැනගන්න ඕනේ සිංහලයි නරකයි නෙවෙයි කියලා.
The sentiment may be sincere, but these are uneasy encounters for Tamils of this region, many of whom are still struggling to rebuild their homes.
அதுகளின் வீட்டை சொந்தக்காரர் பின்ன வந்திருக்கிறா என்ன செய்கிற எங்களை வீடு இப்போ அந்த பாலம் அதில் பஸ் நிற்கிற ஆவடம்.
No, we are very freedom, so we can go everywhere in Sri Lanka. North or east or western or south, no problem.
At the Sri Lanka Army Memorial built in the middle of Kilinochchi, once the de facto capital of the LTTE, we come across these young boys from Negombo near Colombo.
What I can say is this: if the block is the Sri Lanka, it has been punched by a bullet.
Yes.
It has been restored by the flower high above it.
Yes.
The flag is flying. That means the country has been united again by the people.
Again, the language is of good-humored reconciliation, but again, too much of a sense of victor and vanquished.
So you think the two sides can come together, and you are the young generation, future of Sri Lanka?
No, we are working to Jaffna. If I find a good girl, I would marry.
No problem with the Tamils, because all are human.
But perhaps the strangest encounter awaited us at Sri Lanka's last no-fire zone. A tiny strip of land along the island's northern coast near the town of Mullaitivu, where the army in its final battle with the LTTE has been charged with shelling civilians, charges which have cast a cloud over the government's post-war efforts. Sealed off since the war to the media, now we were allowed access into this landscape of charred vehicles and shattered homes. Presumably to show that there is nothing to hide. 2 years after the war, there are no secrets left in the no-fire zone, other than the obvious conclusion.
The sheer scale of destruction here inside Sri Lanka's last no-fire zone is evident that the blood of innocence was spilt here, and that no one, neither the LTTE nor the Sri Lankan army, are blameless.
But as the road through the wreckage winds towards the beach, the last no-fire zone does have a secret. It is also a tourist spot. You can grab a beer, get some food, and walk down to see the ship Farah, a Jordanian tanker hijacked by the LTTE in 2006. The army says that this is only open to army families, but we saw enough people who looked like civilians, Sinhala civilians. Just a few hundred yards away, the burnt stumps of trees, a reminder of where thousands of their fellow Sri Lankans died. The government says its priorities are building the economic hardware of progress, roads, bridges, buildings, through which they will connect the north and the south of Sri Lanka. And while these are important, no less important is justice and dignity. With Neha Masi and Sanjay Mandal, Srinivasan Jain in Mullaitivu for NDTV.
Well, with increasing number of people looking to fly overseas, either for business or some for pleasure, the government will now be launching 3 new Passport Seva Kendras on September 16th. Now, the Kendras under the Passport Seva project would be inaugurated at Saligramam, Aminjikarai and at Tambaram. Now, the services on offer will include a fresh passport application, police clearance certificate, addition of spouse name, change of address, and etc. Now, the Kendras will entertain applicants with online appointments only. A new website, www.passportindia.gov.in, would be launched on the same day. Well, moving ahead now, speaking at a private function organized by the Prince of Arcot, the new Tamil Nadu Governor Rosaya reflected on the terror blasts in Delhi. He said that these uncertain times call for peaceful initiatives by the people.
The world is undergoing a lot of terrible tension. Unrest is prevailing in several parts. not only in our country, in the rest of the world also. People are afraid what is going to happen tomorrow. This must be controlled by our unity, determination. Otherwise, the threat will be hanging and we don't know what's going to happen. So on this occasion, I request all of you to join me and we shall all try for peace, harmony and for peaceful life.
Well, up ahead, after blood transfusion, 23 kids test positive for HIV. More details of this shocking development on the other side.